Never mind my blankie. I'm cold. It's a cold day here. But let's talk Love is Blind season 4 episode number 9. This episode people are meeting other members of their mates, family and friends group. We see Tiffany and Brett. Brett introduces Tiffany to some of his very close friends. And just how he was talking about her and she was looking at him lovingly and like reassuring him, and they folks zoomed in and focused on them two holding hands under the table. And plus, Brett has like a really solid, like they seem like a really solid group of guys that he has as friends, which is cool. Just like she has a very solid group of females that she has as friends, which was great as well. So his friends were they gave him their blessings, and one of the friends even was saying like it's the way that them two look at one another, like he knows it's for real. We see Kwame is still having second thoughts about the fact that he felt like he's compromising way more than Chelsea is in this relationship. And I can see that part. I can see that he is. But he's also still talking to and kind of holding out hope. Seemed like we saw in the last episode him holding out hope that him and Micah can rekindle, or like she won't go through with it or whatever. Like it's like you going along with what Chelsea is doing. You saying that you're still there for her, that you love her, you want to make it work. But you also got hope in your heart that Micah is going to come back around and not want to be with Paul and give you a chance. It's weird for me. We saw Micah and Paul talking. They went somewhere. They were having I think they were having dessert, and they was just talking. And she was saying she really liked his mom, and her and his mom had been talking. He was saying that she was saying that they've been texting each other and stuff like that, and other people from the family have been reaching out to her, which is cool. And the mom has been asking her advice for like what kind of dress she should get for the wedding and stuff like that. That's making Micah feel really good. Her and Paul have a conversation about where they are going to live. She has a lot of stuff, and she really wants to be in Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona. She said, and at first, immediately it was an immediate no for Paul to move to Scottsdale to be with her to make it work. They both decided they don't want a long distance marriage, right? But they got to figure something out. He was saying maybe we can look into getting a bigger place, at least a 3-bedroom. That way we can have one room that's dedicated to all your mini clothes and shoes and things. And then he came back around and said that he's not going to give an immediate no to the idea of moving, because he can put in paperwork and see if his job will transfer him to an office or something there in Arizona where Micah is. So we'll see. Kwame meets Chelsea, mother's side of the family. So he gets to meet her mom, some of her aunts, and I'm not sure who that guy was. Maybe he was married to one of the cousins or something, but and there was 2 little girls there. And when they went to go give him a pound or a handshake before they had to leave the area so that the adults can talk to her. First, the older little girl, she gave him a high five, but the look on her face was like, side-eyeing Kwame a little bit. And I wasn't sure about how he was gonna feel about meeting him, or not him, but that her family, because I'm always leery in those situations like that, where it's a black man meeting white relatives and stuff like. Because I know deep down inside, not all people are inherently racist and bad, but I just, given the history of this country, how they do people like this, it's just, that's something, that's a, I feel like I'm conditioned in life to always question their genuineness and getting to know us and accepting us. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. Um, but the way his mom, the way her mom and aunts embraced him, I think they really genuinely like him and are looking forward to him being a part of their family. Her mom and him have a conversation, and she talks about how close knit they are, and she asks him about his family. Because up to this point, we haven't met or seen anybody, no family or friends for can't get it out. No family or friends yet for Kwame at all. When he talked about, she asked him, how old was he when he came to America? He said he was 8. He's the youngest of his siblings. He has an older brother and a sister. He said that while he was growing up in Ghana, he had a pet squirrel. Cause she asked him, was he a dog lover like Chelsea? Cause Chelsea loves Rocco, Rocky, whatever that dog's name is. That's like her child, and she just wanted to know how he was about pets and stuff like that, and that was cool. Then we saw Bliss introduce Zach to her mom and 2 sisters. And her mom told him about what made her name her Bliss, how strong and special she is of a person. And she do give off, like, what we see is what we get with Bliss, and it's really, I feel like she's so genuine. She's such a really good person. And like a really sweet disposition about her. I really liked her. I liked her mom as well. Um, and the conversation ended with the mom telling Zach, you know, because he said something about if they had kids or something. And the mom was like, you know what? If you end up having kids and everything, just know if my daughter chose you, I trust my daughter's instincts and I trust her intelligence and her emotions. And if she thinks you're the one, you're the one. And you will not be in this world alone without a mom. You'll have a mom. I'll be your mom if y'all get married. And that kind of struck a chord with Zach, you can see. And that was really, really beautiful. Then we see everybody gets together to go pick out, it's dress day. The guys going to go pick out their suits and all that kind of stuff. The girls going to pick out dresses. We never get to see Brett being introduced to her, but we see Tiffany show up to dress day with her best friend. I don't recall seeing this best friend when she introduced Brett to the other friends in her friend group. But she introduces this best friend of hers and her mom. Her mom's name is Miss Ella. She seemed like a really nice lady. We see her. We see Chelsea there with her mom and one of the aunts or was it? No, it was Chelsea with her mom and one of the cousins. I think that was her cousin Demetria. They had some Chelsea's family. I liked their names, and I can't even think. I don't think she even pronounced them because it was one aunt that looked like it's her name was pronounced Millery, and I was like, I don't think it's Mallory, and it's just spelled different. I think it's Millery. I'm not sure, but I liked their names. I really did. They had odd names. So, as I was saying, Chelsea had her mom and her aunt. Uh, Bliss had her mom and her baby sister. How many women is that? Bliss, Tiffany, Chelsea. Bliss, Tiffany, Chelsea, and Micah. Micah had her her mom and that friend that was real mean to Paul that night. She had her there. And surprisingly, when she found her dress, her mom came up to her. This is not the surprising part. Her mom came up to her, and it was just a really special moment because, one, I'm guessing that the mom had some kind of illness or somebody had an illness because the mom said she didn't think she was going to. I think it was the mom because she said she is so thankful to God that He kept her here, that she could witness this moment of her daughter trying on wedding dresses and picking her wedding dress. And that made me a little bit teary. She was like, we are both here, we're both healthy. And I get to see this and share this moment with you. And then we get a confessional from that friend of hers who was saying that Paul, she had a chance to meet Paul and talk to him. And she think if Micah wants Paul, she think it's a good idea. She gives Micah her blessing. And she think Paul a good guy now all of a sudden. But she was loaded in that scene when she was acting weird about the relationship between Micah and Paul. And saying that Paul wasn't for her. She was drunk. So, but they always say a drunk tongue speaks a sober mind. So, it remains to be seen. But we see Micah go up to Tiffany and they looking around and they're like, where's Jackie? Jackie's not here. And Micah was saying that she had talked to her. And basically she seemed like she said she didn't give a whole lot of details, but maybe they going through something. I don't know. And Tiffany said the same, so she took it upon herself. Then we go over, we see the guys picking out their suits, and it's crazy that they lined these moments up together because they showed us Marshall talking to the tailor and his two homeboys standing next to him, and he was like, "She make me," and he's talking about Jackie. Said she make me feel like a fly, and all this and that. And he was like, things have been weird, and it's a lot of uncertainty. But he was still there to pick out the suit. And I'm just thinking to myself, you just said it's a whole lot of uncertainty, and you don't know where Jackie is, and but I get it. When you want something so bad emotionally, you will look past the obvious because you want what you want. And you still holding on to the teeniest shred of hope that what you want is going to be yours in the way that you have it in your mind, which is for him, Jackie going to make the choice to get a dress and meet him at the altar so they can say I do. We see Brett over there having a conversation, him and Kwame. Kwame is talking about, what he been going through lately and how things have been, but between him and Chelsea and stuff, but he good or whatever. He asking, Brett, is he good? And he like, you think Marshall good? They just chopping it up. Next thing you know, Brett gets a message. He was like, ooh, speakers, Kwame, I think it was Kwame, said something about Tiff. Brett looks at his phone. It's a message from Tiff. And she's asking him, excuse me, is Marshall there with y'all? Because Jackie didn't show up to dress day. So we see Brett go over to Marshall and tells his friends he apologized, but he needs to speak with him real quick. He pulls Marshall to the side and he tells him that Jackie didn't show up for dress day. And he like, what? Okay. He said, thanks for being, keeping it 100 and letting me know. Then we see he left. We see him walking down the street. We see him have a confessional outside. Next thing you know, we see all the women pick their dress. Had their special moment about the dress. And then we see Jackie sitting in the coffee shop. And who comes in but Josh? I forgot to mention, at some point during this episode, was that it? No, never mind. Wait a minute. Yes, it was. At some point during this episode, we saw Marshall and Jackie in their house. And he was asking her, it was the same night when they came home from Chelsea party. And he wanted to talk. And she was like, when she came to the party, she was upset and stuff like that. But she too tired. She got to get up and go to work in the morning. So she didn't want to talk. And he was like, but I want you to tell me what you need from me. And next thing you know, she's hugged him again, telling him that she just want him to love her. Just keep loving her. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, just tell the man that you don't want him. Because it's obvious. You don't want him. But she's not saying it. So he's still holding on to the hope that it's all going to work out. So anyway, back to her scene right now. We see her. Josh comes in to sit down. And he tells her he just got to be real with her. He been thinking about her since they was in the pause together. And he want to make something shake. He want his chance, his opportunity. She said, you know what, I'm going to be honest with you. I think I chose wrong. She tells Josh that she realized Marshall is too sensitive for her. She tells him basically about that conversation when she asked him to be a little more aggressive, and it turned into a big blow up. And he left her for 3 days and left her in the apartment or the townhouse that the show gives them to live in together for the weeks leading up to their weddings. And she feels like, dang, like you just leave me like that. And Josh is like, well, I know I'm really into you, and I want my chance. And she was like, well, I'll tell you this. If you're looking to get married right away, that's not what this is. I don't want to get married right away. We can date and see where this goes and see if we're compatible and stuff. Because she was saying before he showed up, she told him, when I heard your voice, I didn't realize that was you, but I heard your voice and it's very distinctive. And I knew that was you. And when I heard it, my nipples instantly got hard. So she physically attracted to Josh. She tells him she can't promise marriage, but they can talk and, get to know each other and see where it can go. He was like, wait, but what about Marshall? Like, do Marshall know this? And basically, the answer is no. He kind of like, do Marshall know that we've been talking? Do Marshall know you here with me, meeting me right now? She basically looked around, but the answer is definitely no, he does not know. So she tells Josh that she gonna give him a chance. And that's how episode 9 ends. With her telling with her telling Josh she gonna give him a chance. Messy boots. Messy, messy boots. What did y'all think of this episode? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be right back with my thoughts on episode 10. Peace.